Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Zero MMR podcast with me, your host, X0, and the usual cast of the podcast. Well, essentially, except for Old Mate, who has decided to go missing again for reasons that are his own. But let's introduce everyone again. Trap, how you doing?
Artifact is coming.
That sums up. That sums up everything. Yeah, that's good to hear.
Wonderful. How are you, Jason?
I am also very excited and ready to throw all my money in. But anyway, before we get that discussion going, let's go introduce Praetorian. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm pretty good. A little tired, as you can probably tell. I had a nice little nap for 2.5 hours or so. It was a nice little reward. Yeah, I'm feeling heaps better now, and yeah, I'm ready to talk about some Dota. And unfortunately for everyone who thinks I'm just a Dota person, Artifact as well.
Artifact as well. All right, and next up, obviously, we have Pretzel. How you doing, man?
Doing very well. I'm doing this week's been a little bit hard to keep my PMA attitude in Dota right now. It's been tough. It's been very, very tough. For some reason, everything that I've been doing that's been winning me games has not been winning me games lately. It's like suddenly while Bucharest has been going on, everyone's just going up 500 MMR. I'm just getting pumped. So, but other than that,
conspiracy theory. There's actually more people that watch this than we think. And they no, that's not true. Anyway. All right. Before we get into the main topic of the night, being Artifact, let's just how's everyone's Dota week been? Is it going okay? Shit. Oh yeah.
Nah, it's been okay. I don't know. I've been trying out a couple of different things that haven't really been working. So rather than sticking to my tried and true, I don't want to say his name unless Trap gets angry at me. So I've been trying some different things. It hasn't really been working out. So I think my win rate since our last pod has been about like 30%. So not real great.
Oof.
Yeah. Ooh. Good thing is it's just unranked. So that's all. Not ranked.
Yeah.
Not putting my precious internet points on the line. So.
Yeah, I know that feel. I think I've been getting a pretty damn low win rate as well. I think I've won a couple of my pubs. I won my one ranked game for yesterday in the morning. It was beautiful. It was up against, it was with a techies on my team. Took over an hour of just sitting in base, laughing as I was playing Rubik, stealing the best spells, like Plague Wards, and just spamming them. I hate my life after that, but I just played a bunch of normal games after that and just lost them all. So I was like, whatever. I've already got ranked.
The one win that counted. The one win that counted. It's all that matters.
That's the one.
Trap, how's your week been?
Look, I played nothing but ranked, so not good. I declared last week that I was going on an Oracle spam, so I played 15 straight games of Oracle and ranked. Won 5 of them.
Oh.
So subsequently I lost quite a bit of MMR. But I decided to give up on my dream of becoming a top 500 Oracle player. And now I'm becoming a Witch Doctor spammer, which is working out great. I'm 4 for 4. So only 600 MMR points to go until I'm back to where I started.
Oh, that is rough.
Oh man, so brutal.
It's like a minions, man. You know those double downs? But I literally lost 500 MMR just through double downs. Never again.
Never again.
I think I gained about 500 MMR from that.
Brain. No one else.
Well.
Wow.
Too bad.
Actually, Jason
I was
asked.
born a winner, not a loser.
All right. As for my week, Willow's been fun. It's been fun smacking people with a blast. It's a really fun time. People still just keep walking through the brambles like it's a nothing. Although saying that, it got picked up against me before I could get a chance. Like a couple of nights ago. It was not fun to play against. I got so destroyed, and it's just, alright, that's why I spammed this hero. This is why. But yeah, But yeah, moving on. We have some quick tournament talk going on. And with our local tournament guy, Praetorian, take it away.
All right, so of course, we have to mention the biggest tournament that has occurred, which is PGL Bucharest. Congratulations to Virtus.pro. Nice little touch there up against Vici Gaming. Was it? It was just Vici Gaming.
Thunder.
Yeah, Vici. Yeah, but so that was really good to see them walk out there. Obviously, to get up to the grand final was great, but Vici Gaming walked into that grand final. I think no one said like after the game interview was just like, asked why he was smiling so much. It's like, because we already knew that we were going to win this 3-0. Like, this grand final it was just there to win. I'm like, yeah, no, that's legitimately, like, I think that's no flame, because they are very confident in themselves. I was really impressed by Ramses. He played a Broodmother in game number 3, got a 10-minute Deso, and he took both those tier 1, the tier 1 and tier 2 tower mid lane in 10 minutes with that Desolator.
He was at their tier 3s at 8.5 minutes.
He is a disgusting
Wow.
But yeah, that's a classic Brood Gaming, I guess. So there was that. Obviously, congratulations to them. But moving on to other tournaments coming up, we do have WESG coming up. That's in 2 days' time, I think, something like that. But we do have an Australian team playing in 7th Heaven, which, of course, yes, I have to admit, I'm going to sell out a little bit here and say that I did write an article on them. If you find it and read it, tell me what you like about it, tell me what you hate about it. Go ahead and do that. But yeah, so WSG is coming up, which is a great tournament to have for all those new and upcoming teams, as well as players. As well as, obviously the casted talent and stuff, because they don't normally get the normal people to come in. They get the sort of the second tier casters and stuff to come in and cast and provide production. So sometimes you end up with some weird interactions with casters and players and stuff, but it's all a little bit of fun, and it basically is like the breeding ground for all the tournament talent for like all the majors and minors that come up. So it's always good to keep an eye on, who's casting and how they're casting, and if you like them, check them a follow on Twitter and tell them they did well and stuff like that. But yeah, that's WSG.
I need to unfollow Prey on Twitter.
Yeah, true. Probably for all of my terrible jokes that I do. The other stuff that we of course have coming up is ESL. They're still doing their AusNZ championships. They're going to be doing it for the next few weeks. If you haven't signed up, there's still plenty of time. You've got this week as well as 3 other weeks to do it, which is always nice. We've already had N9 and Picardo drop qualify, so that's awesome. Obviously for them, it was pretty much, I guess, expected for those 2 teams to go through in the first round, but now that they're through the first round, it means it's pretty much open slather for the rest of the teams. Okay. I have mosquito flying for me. Yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of tournaments that are done or coming up or being done.
Okay. Yeah. Look, we might have looking at some of the start of the WESG, some of the tweets from the players and all that. It looks like we do have a little bit of drama starting up with the accommodation and the hotel and some other stuff going on. I think it was who was it that tweeted out some stuff? Was it Sing? Was it Sing?
Yeah, so Sing did tweet out the fact that the water that coming from his tap is brown. A couple of the CS:GO players actually posted up a bunch of pictures, because all the players are staying at the same hotel, which apparently was the second hotel that they went for, because the first one they went for, like the one that the organizers had originally gone for, apparently cancelled at the last moment. So they scrambled, got some kind of accommodation, which is obviously great, but this hotel that they booked, as you said, Sing Sing wasn't too happy about it. There was brown water coming from his tap, which is probably not a good sign. There's like mold everywhere. It looks like a construction site for some places. It's clearly not fit for being accommodated or being used for accommodation. So I have no idea what's going to happen. Apparently WSG is looking into it and resolving that issue, but I think Cloud9 who is over there right now. They basically walked in when like, no, we're not doing this. Walked out and just booked their own place, as in Cloud9 CS:GO's team, CS:GO team. So they're sorting themselves out. They probably just don't give a damn. They have enough tournament winnings from winning a major anyway. Who cares?
It's fine for them. They're a major esports organization, but yeah, I mean, this doesn't seem like a good start. Mostly because, let's face it, Chinese tournaments are a bit tainted by the Shanghai major drama, and you know what? And it's still like kind of relevant. I mean, there's it's while WSG is not like a huge major, if it's consistently like bad, if it's consistently bad, like even to like non-major tournaments, then China's rep for like big Dota, big Dota events is really not gonna look good, and it's really gonna affect their ability to like do anything essentially. Or host, ruins their reputation. Stops them from like Valve even considering them hosting any more majors and stuff like that. Other than like their own tournaments. Which, let's face it, especially with the Valve setup for the Dota Pro circuit, like how everything is set up there. If you don't have a Valve sponsored event in your country, forget it. No one's gonna go.
Yeah, I mean, I know that I don't think anyone really wants to bring up the fact that this isn't the first time that this kind of thing has happened. But we look back at other tournaments that have occurred in China. Suns fan came out and was like, "We're never ever going to send a team to China ever again. Screw that." Obviously, he's just one tournament org, but there's been issues with getting translators. You guys remember the cruise ship one? Yeah, that was a terrible idea. The internet was terrible. The stream just died halfway through it. There have been constant admin issues, accommodation issues, all that kind of stuff. Players just getting sick from the food that's just not prepared well. I think there was one point in time where they were talking about like plastic chairs being used as players' chairs. Like the really, really badly made ones, the single mold ones, those ones, like as player chairs. As I said, lots of players just getting sick constantly whenever they go over there. And obviously, some places just don't have the best food laws or like the best adherence to food laws. So I don't know. I think a lot of people still trying to roll the dice on China, but it kind of feels, I don't know.
Well,
kind of as a tournament organizer, like I look at that and go, this is a travesty. Like, what are you doing? You're not looking after anyone.
Well, like, it's while WESG is like pretty big, it's a lot of tier 2 teams. Like, these teams are like generally trying to make themselves like known essentially. So you win like a tournament overseas, that's huge for your team in general. So there's WESG. Even if the event goes terribly, and a lot of tournament orgs swear off it, you're still gonna get the tier 2s, even the rich tier 3s and tier 3 teams going in there just because they want to make a name for themselves. And at this point, WESG is like well known, so it's.
Am I wrong in saying that? Like, I think that this isn't the first time that the World WESG has had a shenanigans like this. I feel like every single like World Cyber Games or WESG or something like this is always really, really hyped and ends up being like really subpar. Am I misremembering that?
Like hyped into subpar, I'd say. Well, like it just fails to deliver on almost every single aspect of. Every single part that you'd be measured by as a tournament org. Like, you just kind of have subpar for everything, and that's just not nice. You know?
No.
And it seems to be like a recurring trend for Chinese tournaments. Like, I'm not trying to insinuate anything, but it just seems like the organization of tournaments in China is just not there compared to some orgs like PGL or ESL even. Yeah, sure, they streamed on Facebook, which personally I didn't think that was that big of a deal. But anyway, like you see ESL and PGL, and they're like so big with their organization. They're really well done. And then whenever it seems to go anywhere else to anyone else's hands, particularly China, it always seems to be a shit show. So
Yeah, I think maybe in the future they'll start looking at just hiring some ESL or PGL staff to actually do this kind of thing. But who knows? It's China, so everything has to be done through open world, which, you know,
Perfect World, yeah.
Perfect world. That's one. So I think maybe that's the issue.
I think a lot of it just comes down to like just the country's attitudes, or like the culture, or just like a bunch of how the country is itself. Like if you look, I mean, obviously you have the US where Dota is major and all that stuff, and that's it's a highly westernized country, so there's like relatively high standards. You go to China, like the rich are like super fucking rich. And like when Chinese people are poor, they are very poor. So there's like a wide disparity in in just like the population and like the way the country is set up as well. And because it's not too regulated, a lot of like Chinese companies can get away with like doing a lot of different stuff. And and I think that's just how it ends up being with China. So if you're not like super fucking rich, you're not guaranteed anything. Guaranteed like super high quality stuff, and even then you're not. It's still not 100%. But then you look at like Cataways and a lot of the Scandinavian European countries. Some of these countries have like really are like set up really well for kind of the kind of gaming stuff. They have generally good infrastructure. They have generally good attitudes towards a lot of different things. Even if you look at the middle of major, they're looking. It's a very touristy country. It's like very big on tourism. So anything that attracts tourism is really good. So government is obviously going to want to put a lot of money into that. And again, I think a lot of it just ends up being like a cultural thing. But yeah.
Shame that the country is like one of the biggest esports nations, but it just seems to always fail to deliver when it does come to esports.
Yeah, well,
I guess that's another discussion for another time.
Yeah, a lot of the esports stuff generally is just gaming there is actually just super cheap essentially, because everybody they have a very Korean and Japanese culture in where not many people own like PCs or consoles and all that stuff, and the ones that do are super rich. Most people, if they want to play games and stuff, they just go to like the local internet cafe, pay like essentially like $1 for like the next 2-3 hours. So it is what it is. But yeah, let's not talk about too much about culture. Even though I'm Chinese, I haven't been to the country itself. But let's kind of just move on to the main topic of the night, where I think me and Trap are gonna just dominate the conversation. We just got a bunch of artifact news. So I think it was during the TI last year. We got a teaser for a Dota card game, and then no news since. 2 weeks ago, we had a splash screen for Artifact, and me and Trap were all super excited about that. And then out of nowhere, like earlier, like all last week, fucking bam, huge Artifact drop news.
PC gamer got to play the game, and I creamed my pants. Tell you what.
You know what? Me too. It was it's a lot of media outlets got it. So PC Gamer got it, IGN got it, a bunch of others like outlets got their hands on it, and we also got a bunch of gameplay in addition to like details on how the game would actually work. So I'm gonna go through a brief description. It looks like it's very similar. It seems like it's is a kind of a unique card game in comparison to the stuff that's already on the market. So you have, it looks, from the looks of it, we do have the standard hero cards. We have spells, but what is, and of course, you know, decks, drawing, and all that stuff. But what looks like makes this unique is that it is 3 lanes. So you're kind of going with 3 lanes at once, and from the gameplay videos that has been seen, which I will link in a YouTube video, on the YouTube link for this. There is scenes. There is actual gameplay. So what happens is you do like a preparation phase. So you put down spells, you put down a hero, and then once both the players have done what they want to do, there's a conflict. There's a hit. And of course, it seems like the cards, the creatures, as it were, have an attack at HP, so standard. And after that's done, we move over to the next lane, repeat, next lane, repeat. At that point, a bunch of you draw cards, place heroes where you want them, and then we start all over. But we all saw the gameplay. What did we think? Well, some of us might have missed out on it. Since yeah,
I only saw the screenshots, but from what I saw, it seems to be like much more complex in comparison to other not TCGs. Well, this is a TCG, but other card games on the market. Obviously, like comparing it to the most obvious comparison, which is Hearthstone, it seems to be like way more things going on, and each lane can affect other lanes and so on and so forth. And I'm really interested to see how the strategy of this, like the laning, goes. So it seems pretty complicated, although I didn't really watch the video, so I can't see the exact phase by phase gameplay. But seems pretty full on.
Praetorian, any thoughts before me and Trap go on an hour-long discussion?
I think I've mentioned this in previous podcasts. I'm not a big trading card game person. I'm happy to give it a try, maybe. When I heard that it's going to be like a pay-to-use thing, kind of turns me off, but I mean, that might change in the future, of course, with the likes of like TF2 and stuff like that kind of path where you end up with like a paid part and then eventually it will just go free to play, maybe. But until then, I'm not a big card guy. I love the Dota 2 aspect of it. I'm happy to look at how people play it. Although I want to say that the news that there's going to be a $1 million tournament in 2019 for it looks pretty lit.
Very much Valve, because they announced Dota 2 with $1 million tournament. So
yep. It's just Valve things,
Valve things.
Just imagining them in an office. How do we hype this up?
Tournament.
We have a trailer. We have a tournament. How about money?
Alright, Trap, let's go. Thoughts?
Okay, first of all.
I have to go. Just kidding.
This giant list of things.
So, what I was most surprised about is it's a TCG, not a CCG. If you don't know the difference between them, a TCG is a trading card game, and a CCG is a collectible card game. So something like Magic the Gathering is a CCG, but also a TCG. But this artifact specifically is a trading card game. So from what I can tell, it's that the pay aspect of it is that you can pay to get like boosters, I'm guessing, or something like that. But it will all be done through the Steam market. Yeah, like I think that's the trading aspect of it.
Okay.
And I feel like that'll be interesting because maybe they're trying to boost their like the Steam market or something. I don't know. But it makes me like weird because can you only trade them? Because I don't think anybody uses that trading feature. You know, with the cards that you can get to turn into badges.
I think that's a different thing entirely.
No, that's how they're going to run it.
Really?
From what I can tell. Like, they're going to use that trading function because, like, they put a limit on the amount of items you can sell on the Steam market a year. Like, it's 200 before you got to give it tax information anyway. So it's like, it'll be interesting to see how they run that. But the thing I'm most excited about is the Richard Garfield thing. Like, I tell you what, it explains so many things. It explains why Magic's been shit the last few years, because apparently he's been working on this for quite a long time. So, I'm very, very excited.
Yeah. By the way, for anybody watching, Richard Garfield is the creator of Magic the Gathering, so that's kind of where this thing comes from. I didn't know it. I had to Google it. So yeah.
Okay, look, bit of background information. I work in an independent game store, like an indie game store, and Magic the Gathering is our main trade. And I've loved Magic. I've been playing Magic for like 9 years now. So Richard Garfield is near and dear to my heart, and I screamed. I really screamed. Like,
Full fangirl mode.
Prey can attest to my Twitter. As soon as it got leaked, I was like, "Oh my god!"
It was just like,
Oh my god.
it was like
yeah,
not even
it was
like
literally
it
just
was
all
just bang.
caps,
It was
like
just
all
girls
caps with the
screeching.
tweets, like.
It was like a prepubescent teenager seeing Justin Bieber for the first time. That level of
Seeing
screaming.
Flow Out Boy in concert in 2013
Yeah.
in Melbourne.
Yeah, yeah, that kind of screeching.
It was awful.
Oh, so K-pop fan screeching. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's lower pitched, lower pitched.
Lower pitch.
lower pitched.
Okay.
Lower pitched.
Yeah, dude. I'm super excited from watching the gameplay that we got. I think it was like about a minute of gameplay where the guy filming was walked through. It looked really cool cuz I've been like into Hearthstone for like a very long time. Like at this point I am very very sure I've thrown thousands of dollars into it. Cuz I legitimately basically have a complete collection of cards in that game, and that is not a cheap thing to get. Not at all. I am a huge whale. I grew up with Yu-Gi-Oh! So, being an Asian dude in an Asian school, watching a fuck ton of anime and watching Yu-Gi-Oh! I had to spend all of the fucking money just to be an anime character. And dude, even after like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Fad went down, I was still into it. And so it's just card games are my thing. I never got into Magic for whatever reason. I think there's a lot of like I guess
You're a fucking weeb. Why would you get into Magic if you play Yu-Gi-Oh?
right, I think what it is, it's because I think it's because Magic didn't have was its own thing. It wasn't attached to a
Didn't have
property I
anime
liked.
titties. That's why you didn't play it. Tell you what.
Well, who plays anything that doesn't have anime titties? I mean,
Me, I played real games.
but look, yeah, I got into Pokemon, I got into Yu-Gi-Oh, and I got into Hearthstone because Warcraft, and every Dota player has like, most Dota players at least I think I know have at least some attachment to Warcraft. So yeah, dude,
Funnily enough, I don't. I
Okay.
never played Warcraft. I've never played Warcraft in my life.
Did you only start playing Dota 2 when Dota 2 came out?
2013. Yeah.
Oh,
You know what this calls for? This calls for a Warcraft 3 party.
Oh, dude, so
I'm
Everyone-
so down.
I come
Everyone
from
gets their
RuneScape.
phone out and just starts smashing it out.
Nah, mate, what are you
Everyone has
talking?
a copy
What are you
of
talking about? I have the battle chest, bro. I have the battle chest. I actually bought
Oh,
it.
God.
I have it like right there. But yeah,
The best trading card game known to man, Magic the Gathering.
at this point, I don't fucking doubt it because it's been
Mate.
going on for fucking ages. At this point, there's no
I
arguing
have
against
a
that.
booster box full of Kaladin.
Jason, I feel like you not getting into Magic is probably a good thing because that shit is ridiculously expensive, bro.
Oh,
way
God, I
more
know.
than it's-
God, I know. It's when I got into Hearthstone and there was like a lot of Magic talk, and once you kind of get bored with Hearthstone, it's hard to not to like think about going into other card games, especially when a lot of the Hearthstone pros, as it were, came from professional Magic. Started looking into it, and it's just like it's something I do not want to mess with at all. It's if the moment I get into it, I know I'm just gonna be wasting all of my dollars, just all of them. And I have a problem because I waste all my dollars on Dota, all of my dollars on Hearthstone already. So, fuck, it's just I don't, it just want to mess with it. But you know what? I found another game to fucking throw all my dollars in, because well, Hearthstone, yeah, Hearthstone is like relatively simple, but like, so I want that craving of the Dota complexity in a card game, cause, and I love Dota like. Dota's brought me so much. Plus, I'm actually into the lore. I am such a nerd about Dota. I'm into the lore. Like,
Dude, who isn't into Dota lore? That shit's fascinating.
no, I know a fuck ton of people that are like, fuck, it's just fucking Dota. It's just Dota to me, man. It's just a game. And so, I literally, there was one point I spent like 2 or 3 days just reading up on every single item lore and every single hero lore. And then reading into it lore, fucking Slax's videos on like the lore of Dota 2. Oh my god, I've rewatched that a bunch of times because I was so into it. But and you know what, getting more games in that universe is so interesting to me. It's so good because I love the property. Plus, there was also news that when Artifact was like given out to press that. Dota, the main game might just straight up get content from. Okay, I don't know what that is, but
An ancient
We can't
crab.
really read that.
It's a crab. What's
Okay.
a cod?
all right. But yeah, no, we might. They might introduce new stuff from Artifact into Dota, cause
Yeah, the new heroes.
Yeah, cause new heroes.
Badass female hero that
Yeah, we got
axe when he abandoned.
Yeah, we got essentially got three new heroes. We have a Wolfman, essentially. We have, which is like a screenshot on the thing. It's a little weird. It's not Lycan, by the way. It's an actual like Wolfman hybrid, not a guy that turns into a
Right.
wolf, not a werewolf.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
So
People are
Tasmanian
speculating.
residents.
People are speculating that is that Mars character that was teased, right? Well, people
I think it was a different. I think there was another hero that was another that was announced that was dropped with that might have been referring to Mars. But the big one I personally think is Sorla Khan was kind of like an interesting point because her lore was introduced in the update with Pango and Dark Willow, and it's like a really interesting character in the. Again, like just like Trap said, her lore was introduced as, you know, she was one of the people that took over what we call the Red Mist Army after Axe, after taking leadership, killed his way through all of them because they're all so incompetent, and you know, Axe is Axe.
Classic axe.
Axe is Axe. But yeah, so she's mad pissed off at Axe for essentially destroying their country's army for it. There's also a debate on how she's related to Axe because of the Khan thing. So is it like a surname or is it like a title like Genghis Khan? You know, so lore-wise, no, Khan. It's also a name. I know it's also like a surname. I know people with Khan as a surname. And
I thought Khan was
Can't
just like a title.
believe that.
no, it could like
Hey.
it could be both.
It can be done.
It's yeah, but yeah. So
I was just thinking about
Lore.
Genghis Khan and stuff like that.
yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's it is what it is. Let's just
It's all lords to me.
look at lore-wise. So you know what? I'm super excited for what Artifact can do, and it looks like I'm just kind of a friend of mine brought up or like, how exactly are they gonna do this? Because unlike Hearthstone, there's like a bunch of characters that are obvious. Obviously, there's a bunch of like legendary weapons and items and like spell books and all that. There's a lot of spells. There's a lot of stuff from like WoW and Warcraft 3 to import into the card game. what is and
So,
his and then what if they ask? Because like the WoW lore is super in depth. There's like a lot of stuff. Like every creature, every like plant, anything you walk through has lore behind it. But I think what my friend asked is how are they exactly going to do that with the Dota lore? Because a tree is a
do you
tree.
mean like, do you mean like legally, or do you mean like, how did they literally explain?
Like, is there enough stuff to make a card game about? Essentially,
Yeah,
Well, I mean, that's the point of
Yeah.
it, right? That's what they're going to be introducing. They're just going to make up something. They're going to be like, fucking tree and protector, roof trellin. He fucking left his land and he just wanted to protect the ancient for some fucking dumb reason. But it's going to be like, oh my god, roof trellin, what a sick cunt.
Yeah, I
It's
think I
like,
saw
yeah.
all of Slax's like headcanons, and they were like, "Hey, that's a good idea." Like,
Hmm.
Yeah, well, I mean, half of it's also been explained in the nice little comics that come along with some of the Arcanas, as well as
Yeah.
the hero introduction so far. So that is one thing to kind of look at is like obviously the Monkey King lore, that kind of stuff when it came out. That was really cool. And like every single time the comics drop, I literally spend like an hour just looking at all the details that the artist has put in. I'm just like,
So you're not so you are at least a little bit into the lore then.
well,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I kind of have to be, right? You gotta understand who you're fighting with and who you're fighting against, right? You gotta nerd up on that.
Mm.
Plus, I love a little bit of fantasy here and there with that stuff.
I think the
It's
greatest rival. Sorry, go on. My bad.
No. That was literally my end.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say I think the greatest rivalry in Dota is the bants between Kunker and Tidehunter when they kill each other or they're on the same team or something. It's
I don't
just
know.
so funny.
I don't know.
Later, see him?
Oh,
No,
but
the constant sexual innuendo around Enchantress is just top level.
Oh yeah, there is. Actually, is. There's so much. Even
If you
Coddle.
look at Terrorblade, oh my god!
Terrorblade is ultimate edgelord. He is ultimate edgelord.
Especially around Enchantress, it's so bad. It's so bad.
A lot of it comes from like do you remember like in Warcraft 3 where if you spam click a unit they just say some weird ass shit lines? Like if you spam click Enchantress, so there's this one line that actually made me crack the fuck up was I'll use a human mating call. Oh my god, I'm like so drunk right now. It was amazing. I think they really channeled that for Enchantress. I fucking love it.
Warcraft 3 developers, they didn't pull any punches.
No, they didn't. I loved it.
I'm waiting for the Centaur Cross Enchantress comic team.
Oh, mate. Ugh, dude. Let me tell you.
Dude, I don't know. You really want to roll 34 that shit?
Oh, mate. It's already made. It's already made. It
I'm
exists.
sure it exists.
Man.
Just like you know, Vengeance Skywrath is Vengeance Skywrath is a
Trap
thing.
is laughing because she's looking it up already.
Yep.
That's her
it.
background. One monitor is Centaur Cross Enchantress. The other monitor is fucking I don't know.
She's got an alternative Reddit account and it's a mod on Dota 2 Smart.
Oh no.
Furries.
Just on r/r34. She just writes a fuck ton of fan fiction. That's why she does.
Yeah, that's me.
But like, look. Okay, let me tell you one thing. Lore-wise, the lines they have with the dragons, like all of the dragons, are fucking hilarious. Cause they're all just being savage to each other. They're all just it's amazing. Like if you get DK to kill Puck or Jakira, or I forgot which one it is on maybe fourth. It's like even I'm a better dragon than you, and I'm only a dragon half the time. And it's just fuck. Where did that come from? Shit. It's I don't know. It's just there's so much lore. There's so much smack talk in Dota. I love it.
Obviously, I think I'm most excited about the opportunities that it affords to Dota. Don't get me wrong, I really like card games, but my one true love is the Dota. So really excited to see. I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, that with the release of Artifact, the 3 new heroes are released in Dota 2. Gabe Ben, please. So
Yes, please.
that'll be really really good. So I'm excited to see how the two are going to bounce ideas off each other, and it's actually cool to see that there's that. I think more importantly, and one thing we didn't really talk about is the fact that Valve's even doing something. They're making video games again instead of just raking in that Steam money. Really pumped for that, and I think I read a quote somewhere that Gabe admitted that they kind of made a mistake by having a big lull in making games. I'm sure there's going to be going for the games as a service kind of model again. That is those like things where you log in every single day for because you got some fucking daily quests, or you just like, you know what I mean? It's real simple. Lifestyle games, also known as.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just really cool that like they kind of just admitted that they fucked up, they made a mistake by not making games, and they're just gonna try and commit to try and be a game dev again, try and see them take some risks because they're actually one of the biggest game development company studios that can take risks because they have this massive platform behind them to just bring in money that they can take risks from. Obviously, that doesn't always make sense in a business standpoint, but it'd just be cool if they did do it, of course. So, really pumped for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely excited for it. Trap. I mean, you're being a lot more quiet than I thought you would be, considering that topic. But so let's kind of grab your thoughts on, just like, you know, just a Dota card game itself. I mean, do you? I mean, as much as you love card games, would you have thought a Dota card game would be happening? And maybe because I didn't hear or maybe ask about your thoughts on the gameplay itself. What are your thoughts on it?
I knew it was coming. I'm like, how can Hearthstone and Gwent and even the RuneScape card game exist without Valve like perfecting their own one? Like I knew it was happening at some point. I just thought it'd be done more with something more like CS:GO, like because there's like the tactical CS:GO thing that they could do, like different guns and stuff like that. But it's really cool that they did it with Dota. So I'm excited. I like the gameplay. It reminds me of I can't think of the name of it. Reminds me of this game I used to play. It's sort of like Civ, but it was like a knockoff version of Civ where you do all the pre-planning and then your turn happens. But
yeah.
I'm just excited. Like, and the fact that you can go pro in it, like that makes me really happy. Like as a Magic player, I just play jank. Like I love creating jank decks that do surprisingly well. So maybe one day you'll see me there, boys. I'm excited.
Yeah, you don't play Legacy. Do you play Legacy in Magic or?
Can I afford Legacy?
Legacy, like super expensive just
Yeah.
to make a deck. Like,
Yeah,
just,
you're
not even
right.
like a really good deck. Just like
Mana base for Legacy is like $3,000. Are you kidding me?
Wow. Okay.
No, I do. I play standard.
Okay. All right.
Wow. Is there anything is there even a real sport that has an entry level that high?
Actual sports.
Like no one plays Legacy though. Like only the old school players play Legacy because they've had their cards since they were cheap. Like
it's like modern
Since
and
they were in-
modern standard, right? Sorry.
Since they were
Modern,
born and
yeah.
now they're in wheelchairs.
yeah, modern's expensive. Like a good modern deck will cost you $2,000.
What are the?
Standard, like
I never grasped
just
what the
checked it.
differences was actually. So Legacy is like all the cards in existence, right?
no? So modern is from the Mirrodin set. So like from basically 2001 onwards. And then Legacy is a different format because most of the cards in Legacy are banned in Modern.
Okay, so Legacy is like a no restriction thing.
Legacy is old cards only, so pre-Mirrodin. So
Okay.
you know how Magic cards, these ones look new, and the old ones looked like had weird script and the old art before digital painting came along. So that's Legacy, and then Standard is the last 2 years worth of sets,
Okay.
and it rotates every time a new set comes out.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that's what they
But
got.
it's new. It's not like Hearthstone is my first Magic, and Gwent, I'm not a fan of the Witcher series, so I'm excited to finally have a card game that I can play in the comfort of my chair instead of having to like play cards in real life because
Wait.
I'm an antisocial loser.
Wait, with Magic wasn't your first card game? With how much you're into it, I definitely thought it would have been your first one.
I started with Yu-Gi-Oh actually.
Hey.
and then gave up that in the 4th grade, and then played Magic.
I like that subtle burn. That was a good one.
But it's like with Dota, like you guys started with Warcraft, I started with League of Legends, and then I was like, this is shit. I want to play Dota, and
Good
then
choice.
I just fell in love with Dota. So
So you started with the baby versions of your games
Yeah.
and then stepped up to the real version of the game.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I was a RuneScape kid there. Like I just
Did you
wanted
play the
to play
RuneScape card
story.
game, by the way?
I did. It's not good at all. It's you gotta pay for
Because
everything.
it's more of like a board game, if anything, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Right.
It's like 40k if it were cards. Like, yeah.
Okay. All right. I think we're kind of exhausted that topic a bit, so let's get on to the main topic of the week, as suggested by Praetorian. It is the meme hammer itself, Meteor Hammer. Praetorian, take it away.
Alright, so of course, in the recent resurgence of heroes that should be dead but are still living, we've seen obviously a rise in the item called Meteor Hammer. So I think competitively speaking, we saw it more come out in the NA scene with Plexi Freak, who played like Wyvern and stuff like that, picking it up pretty early on in terms of that item build. We can look through it in terms of stats. It's got cast range of 600 units. The channel time is 2.5 seconds, which is, it's actually not too bad. You've got the impact radius of about 300 or so that's half of your cast range just damaged and stunned. The stun is a 2-second stun, and the damage lasts for 6 seconds. And in terms of stats, we should probably look at who picks it up a lot. To no surprise,
Naga.
thanks to recent events where people have realized that you can song, and then because the projectile speed is such, you can time the song to get a perma-stun onto someone. Naga Siren, just a touch under 60,000 matches with a win rate of just over 54%. So that's honestly pretty impressive. But I want to say that something a little bit more impressive. Nyx Assassin and Elder Titan, both up there. They both got over 20k matches with the item. And Elder Titan has a 64% win rate. I have no idea how. But apparently, Elder Titan already got hero. But yeah, obviously adding Meteor Hammer on top of it means that you get a pretty reliable stun on top of it. It should be noted that it's one of the few items that will actually, it is the only item that does direct damage to a tower. So you don't necessarily have to be within the range of the tower to cast it. Obviously, you can cast it from trees and such, because I don't think you're actually revealed to the tower whilst casting. So that's stuff like high ground, mid radiant tier 2. You should be able to hit that from the high ground, which means that you shouldn't be able to get hit unless there's obviously vision there. Stuff like that. You can tricks and stuff you can do. You can use it whilst you're channeling spells. So one trick that a couple of people have already shown is using it whilst zipping as Storm, which is, shall we say, kind of stupid, kind of ridiculously broken, but it's a thing. Stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. What some people are trying to do with it. It's still very experimental in terms of an item. I think it's more seen as like it's not like a huge meme, because I think a lot of people have kind of gotten used to the idea of it. But now it's seen as like okay, I can get a 2-second stun from an item without having to buy a basher or an abyssal blade, where you either have to be up close and personal, or you have to be lucky enough to get the stun. So it's a bit different. Plus, the damage over time is really nice. It's actually a reasonable amount of damage too. It does on units 90 times 6 pre-reduction, and then on buildings it's 50 times 6 pre-reduction.
540 and 300.
That's pre-reduction though, so it depends.
The agent didn't do the math, by the way. I'm okay with that.
I'm an engineer, boys.
I would do the math, but it's all pre-reduction, so it's kind of worthless to do it. To me anyway, that's how I see it as a caster. I see, oh, okay, it's just a lot of damage. Like, it's a lot of damage. You just can't block it. So yeah, there is that. Obviously, you can still use stuff like pipe on towers to negate the damage, but that's only gonna work for 200 damage or so. Beep. Anyway, open up the table for discussion. Is this item good, bad, worthwhile, and competitive? Your thoughts in terms of experimenting with it?
I think, yeah, go on. Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, I think it's honestly, like, I think it has a bad rap for being a meme. It's actually probably one of the more interesting items that's been brought into Dota 2 for a long time. I think the latest before these items have been stuff like Fairy Fire and Mango, and like, yeah, they're cool. It's awesome, but yeah, it's kind of like this really weird kind of not double edged, but like a difficult to use item, but whose payoff is really really high. There's some obvious like combos that are with it that there is, like anybody who can disable someone for over 2 seconds and then move around, like Bane, like Shadow Demon, like Lion, who has the Hex for 2.5 seconds or whatever it is. They're the obvious kind of synergies, but it kind of fills in a niche that wasn't really filled in for. That is, if you have a team that's bad at hitting towers, this kind of gives you a way to get around that. Of course, you need to stand there and channel your to get around it. Like, kind of like, it's like a little niche thing that you can do, like Blade Mail against Tinker or something like that. You know, it's like it's not going to be relevant for 1 in 100. It'll be relevant in 1 in 100 game. Like, you know what I mean? But it's there. Yeah. Fills that niche, and like, if you're skilled enough to recognize that that's the niche you need to fill in this particular game, I think it's really really interesting and great item, to be honest. So it's definitely not a buy every single game, but it's really really good. I'm really really happy that it's in the game.
I've actually seen a couple high-level support players picking it up as a support farming item, actually. So it's not a Midas as such, but it's like an active Midas, if that makes sense. So you can use it you can obviously stack camps and such, and then you can also just, take out entire creep sacks from it. You can use it to push waves and stuff like that, and you can do this from the safety of trees, where you want to be hiding in trees and hiding off map as much as possible. And if this item allows you to essentially, kill off entire creep waves without having to touch them, without having to reveal yourself and stuff like that, that's.
No, right.
Yep.
Yeah, Richard just died there.
Richard's just gone. But I can see where he's coming from. He was talking about how, as a support, you obviously don't want to be in a very vulnerable position. The fact that you could use Meteor Hammer from the side lane, from the middle of trees, from somewhere where you don't have to be, because you channeling it doesn't reveal yourself, obviously. So that gives you that ability to do that, which is obviously very very good.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people underestimated how good Meteor Hammer was, because honestly, once, like, when it was first released and when like clips of it started coming out of it being used, it obviously didn't look great. And it's a lot of Dota and a lot of that stuff is like first impression stuff, so I can understand it. And until something is like obviously discovered to be broken, it's not going to be popular. Even now, the meme hammer, as it were, is still not that popular. But again, again, just like you guys been describing, it has like a lot of actual great uses. And you know what? Despite all that, it's actually not that expensive. Like, it's just like a bit more than a blink. It's with blink being like 250, and meme hammer being like what, a bit over 2,300. It's costed 26. Sorry,
26.
It's fine though, because you've got a Ring of Regen as well as a Sage's Mask, which are pretty standard items as a support. They're cheap regen items.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, It's again, depending on the heroes, it's not even that hard to set up. Again, the one I point out is like Naga is kind of an obvious one because you have all day to kind of set up like the perfect the meteor hammer to land. You also have it's not even that hard to land with Naga. Oh, the Titan obviously is like a great example just because at later levels, especially with his aura, that hammer is gonna be just wrecking entire teams if they like grouped up wrongly. It's a surprisingly great item, and I, without thinking of the synergy, I didn't even think of Elder Titan as like a great combo because I did like basic research into this, not as much as I would like, but like now that I think about it, it's a great item. There's like no reason like a position 4. Or like maybe like if we to see a day position again, like we're position 3, or even position a pos 1, no, not pos 1, pos 2, like Titan, thing. I don't see a reason not to pick up Meteor Hammer, dude.
I mean,
That's-
maybe not pos 2 Titan, but maybe like someone in the mid lane who's like an intelligence hero who needs strength. Yeah,
I think Pugner. I think Pugner is one of those heroes that's been seen as like a potential carrier of it. Death Prophet as well. Although a lot of people are going stuff like Medallion on Death Prophet still, which I think is actually really cool. But yeah, I think a lot of teams and players are still experimenting with not just like new items, but pre-existing items that have kind of been seen as like oh, that's a support item kind of thing. But like, if you get it faster because you're a core player, hey, why not?
7 armor early on from Medallion is some big damage.
And you can build it into Solar Crest, which you can then turn into Heaven's Halberd. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Or Butterfly.
Or Butterfly. Chad, we haven't gotten much of your we haven't got a lot of your thoughts on Meme Hammer yet. What do you think?
Look.
It doesn't work with Oracle, so it's shit.
No,
It's-
I just though I play differently. I've built it quite a few times, and I find that maybe it's just my level of play. Like in my low MMR bracket, you get your DKs and your Vengers and your Lions, and I find that the channeling time, 50% of the time, I never get it off because I get chain stunned or whatever. And then I find that it doesn't do that much damage. I would rather be like trying to save someone or hit a building than like channel a hammer that would hit buildings. But I don't know, it's just not my playstyle. I think it's a good item. I just never ever buy it. I would rather build like a Lotus Sword and spend the money on that instead or something.
Yeah.
Sure,
Cool.
it's super niche. Like, you wouldn't want to get it on like those more common heroes on the lower MMR brackets. It's definitely like Venge or Ricky or Bounty Hunter or like Sniper or stuff like that. You wouldn't want to get it on those kinds of heroes. So like, I can see where you're coming from. But yeah, it's super niche and definitely not for every
Look,
single kind of.
And I think a lot of it, I think it's a lot of what Trap said is kind of true in that in her bracket, it might not be a great item because, I mean, if you're looking to pick up the hammer, it requires an actual like decent amount of coordination to be like, unless you're doing one of those gimmick stuff the stuff that's like guaranteed to land. Throwing it out, it requires like some sort of coordination, which at the lower ranks, not really a thing, and it's. A lot of strategies that work in the high end stuff generally don't work in the bottom stuff, and like vice versa. So a lot of it again which is kind of normal, which is fine. Yeah. I think that'll probably kind of wrap up our discussion on just kind of everything that's happened this week. Obviously, again. So again, at the final, start off with ESL. Let's support our boy Seventh Heaven at WESG, and you know what? I'm gonna link gameplay of the artifact, and of course our boy Praetorian's article in the YouTube VOD, just so we can.
We forgot something.
Oh yeah,
My boys are back.
they are. News-wise, Digital Chaos has bought Team Animal Planet.
Yeah, Owie's boys got bought. I want to say just quickly that that was so highlighted. I think about 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was a discussion on DC picking up a new team, and then a couple of days ago, Greg Lard, What's Hip TV, followed Owie again, as well as one of the other guys from Animal Planet, and everyone was like, "Yep, it's done." On
It's
Reddit
done.
anyway. But like, I'm pretty sure that everyone who actually pays attention to NA went like DC's after a roster. What are the NA teams right now out there? Oh, only Animal Planet is left. All right.
Can we just appreciate that Moon Meander is to DC what RTZ is to EG? Like the on the team, off the team, on the team.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Well, you know what? Yeah,
Anyway, I
great,
just
great.
wanted to mention that.
Absolutely, great news to Animal Planet. I think that they're a pretty solid team, NA-wise. So, nothing but good news all around. But yeah, let's kind of wrap this up. Before we go, though, I need to announce the main topic of next week, and because it's my turn, I've decided to spring this on everybody without telling them. But you know, none of you are probably going to be surprised. Dark Willow. Yes, that will be your homework. That'll be your homework for next week. And I mean, it's fine because almost all of us are support players anyway, so it works out.
Dank Willow.
Exactly. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Remember Dark Willow for next week, and we'll see you guys then. Bye bye.